What is up, friends? This is Justin here with another Ableton tutorial, talking today about sidechain compression. Sidechaining is one of the most popular things in dance music. Everybody wants to know how to sidechain because we all want to make cool club bangers and we want to know what to do. So what is sidechaining? Well, it's really just using the input of one track to control the expression of an effect on another track. The most common application of that would be sidechain compression. You know, if we compress the bass down, every time we have the kick drum hit, the bass is going to duck down. So we open up a sidechain input on the bass that is going to be listening to the kick drum. Whenever the kick drum hits this level, we want that bass to duck down. So that's going to create that pumping effect, that kind of push and pull, that kind of dynamic weaving that we hear in dance music. That is what you do. The other couple of reasons to sidechain compress would be to help clean up a mix. If things are getting busy, kind of muddy, we can make instruments stand out. We can address frequencies building up. You know, if you're trying to notch out a space for your bass and your kick, with EQ, another thing you can do is help with sidechaining. Allow those each to have some space, allow them to stand out in their own way. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start by dragging a compressor plugin onto my bass track, and then we're going to take a listen to it with no compression first. Okay, as you can see on the compressor plugin, which is on my bass track, there is no yellow gain reduction happening here. So that means that this compressor is yes, it's on the track, but it's not actually doing anything. And it's not going to start doing anything until I lower down this threshold here. The threshold on a compressor is the level at which the signal will start to compress. So the other important thing to know here is the ratio. Ratio is how much compression. So this is when to compress. Well, we wanted to do it at minus 10 dB. Well, how much to compress? Well, we want maybe a 4:1 ratio. That means that for every 4 dB that goes over this threshold, only 1 is going to be allowed through. Let's take a listen. Okay, so we are getting some compression, but again, this compressor is still listening to the level of the bass, the input level of the bass. But what we can do is open up a window here to access the sidechain options. Okay, what do we want the compressor to listen to? If not its own signal, let's have it listen to the drums. And which drum? Well, how about the kick drum? Doesn't really matter pre or post for this case. So there it is. We're starting to get some pumping. The more I bump up this ratio, the more that I pull this threshold down, the more gain reduction I'm going to get. And of course, I can affect the output level right here. And then lastly, I can control the dynamic envelope, the way that this compressor comes on and the way that it goes with the attack and release. That's gonna ultimately give me either more compression or less compression. Think of attack as how the compression starts, or the attack of it. The release would be how it lets go of the signal. Normally, I go with a fast attack and a fast release. Notice as I turn the attack up, it's causing more compression, and it's causing the transient, the kind of front of the signal of the sound, to be more squashed. And then as I move the release knob, you'll notice that the compressor is not having a chance to reset anymore. It's not having the chance to get back to no gain reduction. There's just going to be a constant gain reduction. Okay, so I have a pretty fast attack and fast release on these, and that's sounding pretty good. I can mess with the dry wet if I wanted to just roll it back a little bit. So I want to hear what this sounds like on my synth track. I'm just going to copy it, go to my synth track, and I'm going to paste it. Let's hear what it sounds like just with those same settings. That sounds pretty good. Now, if I had a bunch of things that I wanted to sidechain in this song, let's say like I had a bunch of vocals or a bunch of synths that I wanted to all be compressing at the same time and have that same kind of breathing, what I could do is just grab both of those tracks, click and group them together, and then I could just compress the whole group rather than having to do that on every single individual track. The last way that I'm going to explore this sidechaining with compression is on my reverb return track. So I'm going to drag it on there. So why would we want to sidechain a reverb plugin? Well, the most common example of this would be with a vocal. So if I were to sidechain and have this reverb listen to the vocal track, that means that when the vocal's happening, it's going to duck down the reverb output. That means that we're not going to hear as much reverb when the person is singing, but when they stop the phrase, it's going to allow the vocals to swell up. It's going to allow the reverb tails to pop up and to extend more and to help connect the phrases, but it's going to at least duck down some of those reverb transients and tails, and so they're not like colliding with each other and clouding up space when you're trying to articulate lyrics, and sometimes they can get in the way of lyrics. So but let's take a look. If I put this, I'm going to open up the sidechain options and have it listen to let's just say the drum again. We'll have it listen to the kick drum, and I'm going to send from the synth and the bass. So those are getting sent to the reverb channel, and if we solo the reverb channel, start lowering the threshold. So this is only reverb that we're hearing right now. This is the reverb channel. So this can help add some aggression, add some more tone. It can help it add a little bit of depth to it as well. Okay, so that's sidechain compression. Lots of fun things you can do. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope this has been helpful to you guys. I will see you in the next one.